Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic here in the beautiful studios of MusicTown on the second floor of Hockeytown in downtown Detroit, next to our Lift Lounge. And we do this every week. I do this every week and try to bring in local musicians and hear what they have to say, catch up with them, hear some great tunes, original usually, and we're going to do it again this time. I have Tino G. Hello, Tino.
Hello, Pam. So good to be here.
Yes,
wonderful
welcome.
Downtown Detroit.
Yeah, isn't it cool? Just
beautiful. I love what's going on down here. It's great. I'm from here. I was born in the city, so
yeah.
I'm an actual
You
resident.
live Cass? No.
My
Cass
family's
Avenue?
from Oakland Avenue.
Okay.
By Delmar over there.
Oh, yeah.
The famed Purple Gang Zone. All of that.
Yep, yep. So this is your turf.
This is my turf. I love it.
So what are you feeling good about how things have changed then? What's been happening down here in Detroit?
Yeah, for us people that are from here and we've seen it up and down and lived through all the trials and tribulations, it's our home, and we love it. So we want to see it prosper and do good, and it seems like things are really turning in a good direction. Yeah, and I'm always glad to see that.
Yeah. Can't be sad about that. I mean, we're just happy, and just to walk around. If you haven't been down here, my gosh, you need to get down here. First of all, you can just feel it's
the
totally
electricity's back on.
Yeah,
woo! It's great.
Just something as simple as that, to help change things down here. Yeah, someone said to me the other, actually a couple of nights ago, they said they still have friends that refuse to come down here. It's like, no, come down. You've got to see what's going on. It's a new Detroit, so
it's wonderful. Yeah,
but and you really appreciate that growing up around here and being part of this. So.
Absolutely, this is where I'm from, and proud to have my roots from probably in my mind the greatest music city of all time.
No arguments there.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And you just being down here, growing up, all the different ways to hear this great music, and I would imagine just on the streets as well. I mean, did you experience that kind of thing with the music?
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up in Northwest Detroit, and would be playing music in the basement as a little teenager. My very first real professional gig was playing drums with John Lee Hooker, and I mean, that happened to me when I was a kid. So I mean, I got out and played some drums with John Lee Hooker. And, it was the greatest music education you could ever get. So I don't, think that could happen too many places other than Detroit.
No. I mean, that's huge for your first really professional thing. I mean, how in the heck did that happen?
It happened because some friends of mine had moved to Ann Arbor, going to college out there, and a band from New York moved into a house next to them. They were called the Brooklyn Blues Busters. And they were from Brooklyn, had like a, Paul Butterfield vibe, maybe, Jay Giles type thing. And one of the things they'd been doing quite a bit was being John Lee Hooker's backup band.
Okay.
And they had played a lot of shows with him. So their drummer hated Ann Arbor. He moved back to Brooklyn. It was too easy.
Arbor.
Yeah,
really?
It was too easy. It creeped them out that people were so friendly.
Really?
So they needed a drummer, like, in a hurry. And one of the friends that I told you about was living next door to me. Go, call this guy. I think he could do it. So I get this phone call.
Amazing. From
this guy, and he goes, come on out and audition. And I went to this little bar called Flick's Bar in Ann Arbor. And it was quite an experience. So I got the gig, and he goes, okay, in 3 days, we're playing with John Lee Hooker. So
did you freak out at that point?
Well, I did, and then when I met John Lee Hooker, I was like intimidated, and I wanted to be a good musician and do things right. And so I'm like trying to ask him something about the music, and he just kind of looks at me, and he goes, man, don't worry about it, just watch my foot. And he had these snakeskin platform boots, and he would just stomp the music off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and going to a boogie. Yeah, I had my eyes glued on his foot all the time, and I never went wrong. And then when it came time, do you want to go to Juilliard Music School? I said, no, I don't need to. I just play with John Lee Hooker. I got the greatest education you could get. So that's a joke. But yeah. Anyway, Detroit stories here.
But it's still so cool that that was really how you started. I mean, that's huge. You know, you were in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. And I mean, this was the time when, you know, blues was still very underground, especially with white America.
Yeah.
Well, white people had no idea who any of these people were. So at the same time this happened for me, I was paying attention to like the Rolling Stones, you know, when they would bring Howlin' Wolf on Shindig, you know, and they constantly would mention, you know, B.B. King and Muddy Waters, and they got their name from a Muddy Waters song, Rolling Stone. And so this was all going on at the same time, and it was kind of a natural part of my upbringing.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Thank you. Yeah, and then after that, you know, once you play with Hooker, then it goes on, and I played with all the Detroit guys, Eddie Burns, Dr. Ross, Baby Boy Warren, you know, just on. And, you know, I really, really enjoyed, you know, being a part of all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great experiences and to play with all these different people. And so pretty much you've done music all your life then.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I mean, I really didn't have a plan B. You know, I wasn't trying to have a plan B. I was just like, no, this is what I'm doing. And however it goes, I'm cool with it, you know, and it's gone well. So
yeah.
Thank you,
obviously,
Lord.
yes. For sure.
You know, and I've been fortunate to play with a lot of good people like these guys that are here with me today. And we're going to do some music for you and talk and have a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. And promote our new album.
Absolutely. We're going to get into that. I'm so excited to talk about that as well. So, all right. I can tell you guys are ready to go here. So how about we start with a song here? And this is from the new album, I'm assuming, or no? Okay, great. Great. And we're going to talk about this new album. So, and what's the name of this one?
This one's called Please See That My Grave Is Kept Clean. Well, I got one kind favor to ask of you. Well, I got one kind favor to ask of you. I got one kind favor, baby, to ask of you. Won't you see that my grave is kept clean? Oh, yeah. Well, I got 4 white horses carrying me. I got 4 white horses carrying me. I got 4 white horses and they're carrying me. Gonna take me down to my burying ground. Oh, come on. Have you ever heard that coughing sound? Well, have you ever heard that coughing sound? Have you ever heard that coughing sound? That's another poor boy put in the ground. It's put in the ground. Well, I got one kind favor to ask of you. I got one kind favor to ask of you. I got one kind favor to ask of you. Won't you see that my grave is kept clean? Won't you see that my grave is kept clean? Won't you see that my grave See that my grave is kept clean now, baby, yeah.
Tino and the gang. Of course, we got Carlton Washington, great stuff there on the lead guitar. We've got Jeremy Knaus on the kit, and Mike Smith over here on bass.
That's right.
Nice guys. Nice. And you're all on this new album as well, as I can see here. So this is cool. Brand new album from Tino. Yep. It's called Dumpster Machine.
That's what we
Low
call
Flying.
the band.
I'm sorry, Low Flying, yes.
Yeah, Low Flying's the name of the record.
Yeah. This is your first, and this is
Very
just
first
blew me away
solo
when I
record,
saw that. The first solo album. It's like, wow. As long as you've been playing, that just blew me away. It's like, this can't be the first.
Well, I've always been part of a band or something, you know, an organization or whatever, but I've never done anything really under my own name before, so I'm really excited to put this out there.
So what made you decide to do that at this point now?
Well, just a lot of things. Music that I was hearing in my head that I was doing solo, actually. I was doing a lot of one-man gigs and, you know, getting a lot of work doing that. You know, I had one interesting night. Robin Trower was at the Royal Oak Theater, you know, and they put out a word like we're looking for like a solo guy to just open this. We don't want a band, you know, because they just wanted one guy to come
warm up the, you know.
So I had made a little video of me doing Oddly Enough a John Lee Hooker song, and I get a phone call from Live Nation, and it's like, hey, is this Tino? I go, yeah. They go, you want to open for Robin Trower tonight at the Royal Oak Theater? It's sold out, and you know, I was like, yeah. So I went out there and I was just doing my thing. You know, I got a standing ovation.
Nice.
You know, it was like 2,500 people in there, and you know, I was like, going, wow, this is like really cool and it's fun, and so I think I'll pursue it. And I kept doing it, and when we did the John Sinclair Mobile Homeland album release, my wife Lexi said to me, you know what, you should get a rhythm section for that one and do it with a band. And I go, wow, that's an interesting idea. And right then Mike had called me, Mike Smith. He goes, Tino, and he's a great guitarist. He was like, I want to play bass and be a bass player. Let's do something. I go, boom. Now, Carlton and I had been playing together off and on for years as a duo. We did a lot of gigs together, just sitting in chairs and playing John Lee Hooker type stuff. And I had also just produced a record for a band Jeremy was in, the Long Neck Strangler, so I knew him. And it just came together like, boom. And those are the things in life that you have to pay attention to when something just happens so easily and works out so good. So I just kind of went with the flow. And I had the songs. I'm always writing, so.
That's cool. You know, the intertwining of, you know, you just, for some reason you called, you know, it was perfect timing. And
it wasn't some grand plan, like, I'm going to start a band and take over the world. No, it just kind of fell into place, you know, and I always like things like that, so.
More organic, you know, and it just kind of forms into, maybe that's the best way to put it together.
Like being on this show. All of a sudden you called me. Here we
Tino.
are.
So,
yeah.
I know sometimes I have gotten that response sometimes. Hey, this is Pam Rossi. It's like, yeah. You know, so no, I'm glad you guys came in. And the four of you together, that sounds really, really good. The band Dumpster Machine,
I'm digging it.
Dumpster Machine, where's that come from?
Well, you know, a little bit of it is like, okay, sometimes I go, is this a band? I go, no, everybody's in a band. This is a machine.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then, you know, the dumpster thing is very Detroit because, you know, to me, like, the music we do, there's a little of this, little blues, little soul, little jazz, little funk, little, you know, whatever you want to call it, gospel. And if you throw all that in a dumpster and go dumpster diving and pick through the dumpster and pull out the goodies, well, that's kind of what we are, you know. It's like a cross-pollination of a lot of sounds.
We keep it trashy.
Yeah, and it's trashy, too.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That thank you for explaining that. It's really a great story about how.
I tried to get us a gig out in Napoleon, Michigan, and this guy called me, Tino, I want to get you out here and all that. And I go, okay, let's talk. You know, So what's the name of the band? I go, Dumpster Machine. And this big silence on the end of the phone. The guy goes, what did you say? I said, Dumpster Machine. He goes, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Had to think about it.
He never forgot it. You know?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's very unique. And plus, now that we know the story behind it, that is really makes it even more unique. I like that. I like that a lot. You mentioned earlier, you playing with a lot of people. And I know a big name you played with was Bob Dylan, of course. Yeah. Again, was that a right place, right time kind of thing?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's huge.
That was, that was like 4 doors down at the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been longtime friends with Tony Gagne, Bob's bass player now for 30 years. And Tony and I used to work back with Johnny Nicholas, who was on the show, who now lives in Texas. And we used to play a lot in Ann Arbor in the 70s. And Tony and I stayed in touch. He moved to New York, and he started playing on the Saturday Night Live show and doing a lot of cool things, working with Robert Gordon and Buster Poindexter. And so he was really getting over. And then he got the gig with Dylan. And so I would go watch him play when they came to town. And somehow I would end up taking the Dylan band out around Detroit. They go, we want to see the real blues guys. So I'd take them into the funk, where they could find some real cool guys that were real authentic. And they go back to the hotel laughing, and Bob Dylan's coming out the door, right? And, hey, where were you guys? Oh, we're with Tino. We're with Tino.
Tino?
He keeps hearing about this Tino guy, right? So when they came to the Fox one night, I went down to see the show. I had the flu, too. I was really sick.
No.
I almost didn't go. And I was, like, just spaced out. And Bob's manager's in the lobby. He goes, there you are. We were hoping you'd show up. And he goes, Bob wants you to sit in tonight.
Wow.
It was like that.
Wow.
And I go, really? He goes, yeah, he wants you to play. We got a Marshall amp up there and a 57 Strat. And we'll do some blues. He feels like doing some blues. So he brought me out in the middle of the show, introduced me. Hometown boy, Tino Gross. And we played some Elmore James, and everybody got up out of their seats and were dancing in the aisles. It was like a dream,
Yeah.
So that was like, really something I'll never forget, getting to play with Bob Dylan.
Just like getting the Tamiflu in as much as you can and to feel better and everything.
And that's why he's so great, too, is because everything's kind of mysterious, and I don't think it's all really that planned out. He goes with his instincts, and he was like, get Tino to play tonight. Boom, and he just did it.
Well, good thing you don't have a name like Mike or something. To remember Tino is unusual.
And then the other thing that happened with Bob was there's a deaf rapper in Detroit. You may have heard of Sean Forbes.
Yeah.
Sean doesn't have hearing, but he raps. I was producing his record, and he's signed to Web Entertainment, which is part of the Eminem empire. And we started writing a song. We came up with one called Bob Dylan Was the First Rapper. So Eminem's manager, we used some of Dylan's lyrics, like from Subterranean Homesick Blues, Mama's in the kitchen cooking up the medicine, it don't take a weatherman to know which way the wind blows, that kind of stuff. And so the management sent it to Dylan.
Ooh. He
approved us with a 3-way co-write. So I'm also a co-writer.
Oh my gosh.
With Bob. Yeah, thank you, Bob. But
that's very generous
That's
of him.
how cool he is.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, this is the man. So
yeah, that's one artist I would love to meet and never have had the chance. But
I go to see him as often as I can.
Yeah,
and soak it up.
It's just amazing how he's still performing and and
he lives on the road.
Oh yeah.
He just keeps going. God bless him. That's my role model right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I thought your favorite, your role model, I guess it would be different. Yeah. Because was it Ray Charles is also a big...
Love Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin.
Oh, love Aretha.
My 2 favorite singers right there. One of my favorite, if not favorite, all-around musician is Jimi Hendrix. But I like tons of stuff. George Clinton,
Well, you grew up on just hearing all these different things, so that probably influenced,
Love it.
what you do and everything.
Yeah.
And just thinking about, those artists that you just mentioned, most of them gone, and they're doing these things called the hologram concerts or something.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Ray has one going now.
That's what Mike is. Mike's not really here. He's a hologram. Yeah, there's a Roy Orbison
what do you think about that? I mean,
why not? You know,
Okay.
if it's entertainment,
That's true.
I mean, there's a creepiness to it
That's
that
what I thought.
probably draws people in. Wow, is that creepy? They're doing Amy Winehouse too.
Yes, I saw that.
There's going to be a hologram of her on stage, and
I guess I'd have to see one before I can make an opinion on it.
I haven't seen one yet either, but I'm keeping an open mind.
Very
it's
interesting.
weird, but I kind of dig
very
how
strange.
weird it is.
Yeah. All right. Tell you what. How about we hear another song?
You got it.
All right. What's another one from the new album?
Absolutely. This is called "I Don't Want to Go."
All right.
Well, if that devil come to get you, tell him I don't want to go. The devil come to get you, you tell him I don't want to go. If that devil come to get you, you tell him I don't want to go. You say I don't want to go. Well, I don't want to go. Well, I walked into the valley with an empty gun. The devil looked at me and he said, "Welcome home, son." Well, I looked at that devil, people, and I began to run. I said, "Well, I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go." No, I don't, baby. Come on. Well, I walked down to the crossroads, trying to flag a ride. The devil pulled up. He said, "Come on, jump inside." I looked at that devil, and I began to cry, 'cause I don't wanna go. No, I don't. Well, I don't wanna go. Come on, crowd. I don't. Well, I don't wanna go. Well, I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go. No, no, no. I don't wanna go. No, no, no. I don't wanna go. No, no, no. Said I don't wanna go.
Woo! Tino and the Dumpster Machine here on Behind the Mic. Nice, nice. I'm anxious to hear this whole thing. I was just while you were playing, I'm thinking this is a great way to start a week off. Yeah, some good stuff there. Now, and a lot of people know you also from the Howling Diablos, of course, and you're still, that band's been around for a while too.
Oh yeah, 30-some years.
That long? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize.
Mike was in the Diablos too. We did one of the albums we did together. It's called Car Wash, which might be one of my top 2
Okay.
Diablo's favorites.
Well, you have a lot.
Yeah.
When did that one come out? It wasn't
It
too
was
long
about
ago.
2005.
Yes,
yeah.
okay, I remember
I
that,
had just
yeah.
worked with R.L. Burnside for Fat Possum Records, another blues legend. I produced the last 2 R.L. records, which was such a honor to work with him down in Mississippi. And so I was just soaking in that, North Hill country blues vibe. Kenny Brown, Cedric Burnside, who I'll be with November 4th, I think. I'm going to be doing a show at Callahan's. Me, Cedric Burnside, and the North Mississippi All Stars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's coming up. So I'll reunite with that crew. But I was so inspired with all of that because, really what John Lee Hooker was doing and Bobo Jenkins and all of the Detroit blues guys is really taking that Mississippi Delta hill country stuff and just making it raunchier and more amped up in Detroit. It's the same overall groove. So I fit right in with those guys. And when I got back, we started doing the Car Wash album. And it's just got a lot of that kind of flavor in it.
Yeah.
So
you probably do you get influenced by other artists and give you a different direction of your music?
Oh, yeah. I'm like a sponge.
Well, that's normal for our musicians.
You're supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah. I remember. There was a famous quote. You steal or borrow, and
well, they say that all the great musicians steal.
Steal, yes. I can't remember who said that.
But everybody, you can't really steal because whatever you do is going to come out as you. Mm-hmm. And one of the best instances of that is ska music and reggae. Yeah. If you talk to Bob Marley and all the guys down there in Jamaica, well, they were just trying to copy like Motown and American soul music, and they just rhythmically changed.
Yeah.
By accident, and then they kind of invented ska, trying to copy, what we were doing. So the MC5, they wanted to be the James Brown band. Everybody goes, oh, they invented punk rock. Well, they weren't even trying to play punk rock. They were trying to be like James Brown live at the Apollo, and it just came out punk rock.
Yeah.
So when you steal, good luck. You're really just being influenced by something, and it's going to come out as you regardless, and that's the beauty of it.
And, all musicians have used, basically it's the same, the same chords or, maybe a little different tuning or something. But, when you put your own spin on it, and, why not?
There's only 12 notes in the scale. So
that's true. Good point.
You shuffle the deck and get funky with it,
Yeah, and as a musician, it's probably fun that when you've got just these few things to work with, to what can I create from that, that makes it my own, and that's got to be fun. Just jamming and experimenting and playing. Do you practice every day?
Yeah. Well, I write a song every day.
A song every day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
A complete song in one day?
Well,
or most of it?
I just freestyle stuff and bang on the guitar or the drums or whatever. And it's like a thing I force myself to do because, like, I was looking at some of these guys that write books, like Stephen King, and he's so prolific, and it's like he goes, well, I sit at the typewriter every day, regardless, and just start banging out something. And that's kind of a process that you need to deal with that because there's a discipline involved with music, too. It's not just, happy-go-lucky. You get back what you put in. So
makes sense.
I look at it like that. If I don't do something, nothing's going to happen,
Right. And you don't know if you've got a great song or not until you actually put it down on paper or play it.
And some come easy. Like the way Tom Waits describes it, like songs are like little weird gremlin spirits that are flying around in the ozone, and it's your job to receive them. And if you're cool and put your mind in the right place, those songs will fly down and want to hang out with you and be your friend.
Sounds like Tom Waits would say that.
Yeah, and then you get to say you wrote a song, but the songs are there. They're
from
already
the Gremlins.
There.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like airwaves. They're there. You can't. There's no scientific way of finding it, but it really is. It's like airwaves, and you have to tune into it. You have to have your antenna on.
Interesting.
So I keep my antenna on, switched on.
Yeah.
I don't get much sleep either because the middle of the night I'm like, oh, that's a great lyric. I drive everybody crazy at my house because I'm up. I'll get up at 5 a.m. and turn on the light, and my dog's going, oh, and I'm scribbling something on an envelope with a magic marker, and then I go, I'll finish that in the morning, and then I can't sleep, and then I get up and do another verse, and and it just goes on and on. But a lot of times I go, wow, am I glad I wrote this down because I would have forgot
Well,
it.
Yes. It could be a curse, just.
Yeah, it's just
but
what
it's
we
good.
do.
Yeah. And after this many years, you must have thousands of songs that have never been, finished or produced, whatever.
Well, I do, and that's what helps us with our Funky D record label.
Yes.
Which we operate out of my house in Royal Oak, Lexi and I, and she's the vice president. And I keep a lot of songs, so if a singer shows up and they need a track.
Really? Oh, nice.
I mean, the John Sinclair record, both of them that we did were kind of like tracks I already had.
Okay.
And I just let him vibe off them and go, how do you like this? How do you like that? Well, oh, I like that one. That's good. Okay, and then he reads to it, So you have to keep the songs ready to go,
Interesting.
Yeah, always.
I'm going to jump to the PAM exam here.
Yeah. And I keep them in my head, too, so.
And was there ever in a weird place or something that the song came to you and, at the most worst time that it could come to you? Does that happen a lot?
It's always when you're driving.
Okay, yeah.
And, like my iPhone's filled with voice memos, just singing some whacked out stuff on the phone. Some lady's staring at you in her minivan. You freak! What are you doing?
Need a bumper sticker in the back. I'm a musician. Just ignore the guy singing in the side, or talking to himself inside.
It never ends.
That's cool. And hopefully you can go back through. And do you ever go back? I mean, how far back have you gone that you actually found a great tune and produced it?
Oh, 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Never
one
know.
I did. It was called George Clinton Got in My Car. That became a favorite. And that was a song Vinny Dombrowski from Sponge called me like 12 years ago. Tino, I got an idea. I go, come on over, bro. He came by. And he goes, this is what I got. He goes, I hadn't traveled very far. George Clinton got in my car. I go, that's it? He goes, that's all I got. So we recorded that, and I forgot about it. And about 12 years later, I remembered it. And I pulled it out, and I put in the verses and finished up the hook, got Wayne Kramer to play on it. And it came out great, But if I hadn't saved it, and had it,
gone.
We'd have never had that,
It would have gone in those airwaves and those gremlins, and someone else would have caught it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta just kind of keep working at this stuff.
That would be a cool song. I mean, George Clinton in your car would be interesting in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to have to pull that one out and listen to the lyrics on that one.
Yeah, it's
that
a
would be
good
fun.
one.
Yeah. Is that on an album then?
Yeah, that's on a Howlin' Diablo's record called Return of the Funk Hand.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. There's a video, too. It's real entertaining.
I bet.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued now. Very good. And you must have a lot of videos with your...
That's the other thing we do is it's like a full in-house operation where we record songs, we write them, we produce them, we put out the records, do the posters, do the videos, book the shows. It's like if you don't do it, it's not going to get done.
Right.
And I just got tired of like trying to get other people to do things. I'll just do it myself.
That's what if you just get it done, you just do it yourself. Yeah. And so how long has Funky D been around?
I think about 8 to 10 years, maybe 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's rolling good. We're getting, we get calls from all over the world now. People in Germany and Berlin, and France, and hey, it's Detroit too. So everybody's watching Detroit.
Yes.
You couldn't come from a better place if you're in the music business.
Yeah. Right now is prime time.
This is a hot spot.
Yeah. Interesting. All those other places are calling you and stuff like that. So, very good. Well, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna do some questions here. Random. Do you want to sit down?
Sure.
And we just need your mic on closer to you. You know, if any of you guys want to throw out...
Get some of the fellows, too.
Yeah, you know, if you haven't answered, feel free. What do you think of when you hear the word success?
Me, I think of a song that people are digging, you know, like it's not so much about the money. It's just that you come up with something that people are feeling. And you can tell when that's happening. And that feels so good. That would be success to me. The money's a bonus, but the success is in the doing it. Which,
when you're live, you can actually get instant response. And I would imagine you feed off that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, get you going there, and you see when they're responding. What do you do if they're not responding? Then what?
Well, that can happen. I mean, you know, then you basically bump it up a notch or two. You know, I mean, generally people are responding, and you know, that's the beauty of what we do is that music's magical. It's like science can't even explain what really is music.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this thing for Wayne Kramer, working in the prisons for jail guitar doors and teaching convicts how to write songs and guys that are in for life. And you see the magic in that when a guy who's never going to get out writes a song about apologizing to his daughter, who's now 35 years old, and he has not been there for her entire life. And the song and lyrics can be so heartfelt. You just go, wow, there's magic here, you know? So that's what I look for.
You were telling me about that before, you know, with Wayne, of course, from MC5, and the two of you, I mean, how did this concept, go to prisons and teach them how to write songs? I mean, that had to spur from something.
Wayne got the idea from Billy Bragg, who's a British, folk singer guy. He started a British version of it, and Wayne was inspired to start a United States version. So that's his passion. It's jail guitar doors. It's a labor of love, and it's in 120 prisons now. And we finally got it in Detroit for the first time. And so I spent 14 weeks, the last 14 weeks, going into the Ryan Re-Entry Penitentiary and working with these guys. And Fender Guitars donated the guitars. Wayne had that done. And I'll tell you, it's like you feel like you're being of service to somebody and it's giving something back.
Yeah.
Is the best feeling in the world of making you feel like you're really alive, is doing something for somebody else like that.
That is a great program.
Yeah.
And just think, you know, especially these guys know they're not getting out, you know, and they're alone for so many hours during a day. Yeah. Why not write something and, you know, learn?
The stuff they come up with is so beautiful and inspiring.
Oh, I would imagine.
You know, songs about redemption, apologizing.
It's kind of therapy for them, I would think.
That's exactly the point, because if they were to come out on parole or whatever, it's like you don't want them to be hostile and angry and ready to, like, you know, just, do another crime and reoffend, you know, and then go back into the system. You want them to feel like humans that can fit in, because we're all in this life together. Yeah. They are our brothers and sisters, even though they're locked up. America warehouses people. We're the only country that does this. We create these big facilities and we just throw these people behind the wall so we don't have to look at them and deal with it.
Yeah.
The music helps rehabilitate them almost better than anything.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Kudos to you and Wayne. This is...
Well, Wayne's the guy, but I've become, part of it now.
Yeah. And I would imagine, it's great for those inmates. You know, this gives them something to look forward to, to be creative and, all of that. But I would imagine when you leave each time, that's...
It's so heavy.
Yeah.
I hear getting in there takes a half hour because you got to go through metal detectors.
Right.
You can't wear a hat. They go through your tennis shoes. They search you because you can't bring some contraband in there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and then when you leave, you hear that door shut and you just go, wow, I get to go home and have my life, and it really makes you feel blessed.
Yes.
And those guys are going to stay in their jumpsuits, and they're not going anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phew.
So ask the guys some questions too.
Well, you guys throw out a, yeah. All right, well, here's a good one for all of you. Favorite non-music pastime? Anybody?
Do you do anything else?
Bowling.
I don't really do anything else, no.
He works at the Foaling warehouse, which is really cool.
What's that? What is that?
We like to throw footballs at bowling pins.
Oh, yes.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
You know about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So I work on the building. It's a big old building, and it's
Kind of
got
a maintenance guy, you think?
a lot of its own challenges.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over 100 years old. So
Oh, wow.
sawtooth roofs and high voltage and all kinds of fun things in there.
It's a very cool place.
All right.
Hamtramck, Foaling warehouse.
How about you?
I watch a lot of movies and play my guitar. Really, at the same time I'm watching, it's not really, you can't really do that with other people around.
Yeah.
So I live alone, and literally I'm watching movies and
Your
sort
veg
of.
time.
It's just part of my making sure I play every day and learn some more, and all those orchestral scores.
Mm-hmm.
I play along.
Oh.
I jam with it.
Oh, interesting.
It's just
Okay.
kinda,
Well, it's still kind of working.
It's music. We're fortunate that music is what we do, but it's also, I think, for all of us, it's our hobby also.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's not like we're closed-minded to other things. We go to games every once in a while or whatever and stuff, but I really do play music every day. It's what
It's
I
in your
want
blood,
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. Well, I like watching mixed martial arts. I like, my girlfriend has a dog and a cat, and I like learning about animals and stuff like that. But like the other gentleman said, I am definitely playing music every day and writing music every day and
You
working
kind of
on
have
that
to.
pursuit.
This, you have to do it every day. So,
Yeah.
Are you a black belt or anything like that?
No, I'm just a spectator.
All right.
That's good to know.
Tino, how about you?
My pastime, I like working in my backyard, just spacing out with my hands. I like getting outside, planting bushes, and I built a whole garden in the back with my dog.
I could use you at my house.
Yeah, no, I love that because it's like it's relaxing, and things like going fishing. I like to get out and just like throw a hook in the water and just chill and kind of. I like to do things that are relaxing,
Okay.
that chill me out.
Yeah.
I'm like with Mike. I'm a big film buff. I'll kick back with well, I think it's time to haul out The Godfather again. Pour some red wine and see what Fredo's up to. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Star
But
Trek.
music is the guitar's in my hand all the time.
Yeah,
As far as
yeah.
trying to figure out songs and
Well, you never know, and all of a sudden your fingers
Yeah.
are doing something. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So,
exactly,
yeah, that's
exactly,
cool.
yeah.
Do you have a ritual before a performance? And I saw you guys do a little thing here before we started. I don't know. Is that normal? Do you do anything?
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
Carlton's laughing over there.
the thing is to bond with one another on a, this is like a mission we're on,
Yeah.
and it's a kind of thing we're all participating in something, so we get tuned in together. It really, it makes a good difference on the spirituality of it all.
Okay.
Jazz guys do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you don't have to talk a lot, but if you just get the vibe together,
Yeah.
you're going to be good.
Just to be around each other for I can't imagine just like running in and plugging in and going. That just would not be a.
Sometimes that's what
happens.
happens,
It happens.
But,
Oh,
but
okay.
if you can get a little bit of a, kind of lock the vibe
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
it's always good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Do you have a half or full day? Okay, let me back this up. You have a half or full day to kill in Metro Detroit. What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
I'd go down to the river,
Okay.
and just kind of check out. I like watching people, like all the people walking around and just digging the whole scene and seeing the boats go by. And, you know, I like to let my mind relax and wander. And, you know, then, of course, after a little bit of that, the nightlife, you know.
Do you have a favorite place to go? And
Yeah, PJ's Lager House.
good place, yeah.
Yeah, we just played there for our album release. And, just, you know, I got a lot of friends in Detroit. Love to see all of them.
A lot of people know you, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been here for a while. So.
Yeah, it's, and it just, you know, I've been in Detroit area in radio for many years.
Right.
And it was really weird that I didn't meet you till maybe 8-9 years, if that. It's like,
Yeah, over at U Detroit.
you Detroit, yeah. It's like, how did we never connect? I don't know.
I
It's just,
know.
it was kind of weird. It was like, I remember Brian Pastorius,
yeah.
you know,
I'm
hey, you
glad
should
we
get
met.
Tino in here. It was like, Tino. I should know Tino, but I don't know Tino. It's like, I don't know how that happened, but I'm so glad we
I'm glad it
finally
did,
connected.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, for sure. All right, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, or Red Wings?
Red Wings.
I got a Red Wings and a Tigers going.
Lions.
Got them all covered. Red
He's
Wings,
torturing
Lions,
himself.
Pistons, and the Tigers. Okay. Didn't expect that to happen.
They're all wonderful. But
Oops, I already asked you that one. All right. Your craziest fan experience.
oh, I don't know if we can even talk about that. Yeah.
That crazy, huh?
Well, I mean, you know, there's always somebody that's, you know, acting up and getting goofy, or that's a tough one because there's been so many, you know. Here's a good one. So this was in the Holland Diablos.
Okay.
We were doing every Sunday at the Bears Den. And there was so many people crammed into this joint, you know, but there's faces you see every Sunday. You go, oh, yeah, there's that guy again. There's that guy. So we were invited to a party in the suburbs, and it was pretty wild party. A lot of musicians. I remember the Detroit Cobras were there, Rachel and Mary, and everybody was acting up, and we were having fun. So our guitar player, it was winter. He said, I'll leave my car running, so if anybody wants to go outside and, you know, relax, have a smoke or whatever, they can do it in my warm car that's running. So
I can see already.
we
this
go
is not going-
outside,
this is
the
not
car's gone. He goes, oh my God, somebody stole my car. Well, oh no. Call the cops. Nobody wants the cops coming to this party, but
Right.
now what are we going to do? Well, you got to report it.
Yeah.
Cops write it down. They're looking at us like we're insane. And all right, you guys, just try to behave. And it was a Cadillac, too. The guy that stole the car starts coming to our gigs. He doesn't know he stole a car from the band that he loves. So we're on stage playing, and people, your car's here. It's in the parking
Oh,
lot.
no.
And we'd run outside, and the guy would see the taillights going down the street. He came to see us play about 5 times in our car
That's
that he stole from us and didn't know it. And finally, we just figured it out. Well, he's probably just parking it somewhere around here. And sure enough, there it was on the side street.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, we're like, we called the cops. We found our car. And they're going, okay. Well, don't you want to come out here and take fingerprints? No, just drive it home. You got your car back. Leave us alone. You know, but that was a weird fan.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a true story.
Well, got your car back. Good.
No, I never.
Did he ever show up again to your gigs?
No, yeah, I think he finally realized, oh my God, because people would always like, you know, run up to him. You got their car, and he'd be like, "What are you talking about? I stole this from a party." You know, no, it's
That is
their car.
funny. That is
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got the car back.
Yeah,
And I bet
finally.
he didn't do that again. Keep it running, and so
No,
you can
it's bad.
you can go freeze out there and get a cigarette if you want. That's
Yeah.
funny. Lafayette or American? Talking Coney Island here, Detroit.
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Whichever. They're both good.
Or you're the tiebreaker, Carlton.
I'm not a big fan of Coney dogs. Sorry.
So much for that.
There you go. Wah, wah, wah.
open all night.
Yes.
It's
All
all
right.
night.
We got a couple Lafayettes. All right. One question left here.
Yeah.
If you could be on the cover of a magazine, which one and why?
Wow. Man.
He was on. Tino was on the cover of Playgirl that one time in 1987.
I would, for me, the one that really matters, Time Magazine, But Rolling Stone would be cool too.
Yeah.
Guys?
Those are both good. Well, something to strive for, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, we need another song, guys.
All right. So this one, there's a story. Now I can tell the story before or after the song.
Well, that's your preference. Whichever you think will be better.
I'll do a quick tell of this.
Okay.
So when I was a kid growing up in Detroit, my neighbor Jimmy Recca came and lived in our basement, and I was from a broken home, and so was he. And my mom, who's a painter, she was like, "Yeah, let him live in the house." So he moved in with us, and we got to be real close, and we jammed all the time. And one day there was a knock at my door, and it was the Stooges.
Oh.
And they're knocking at the side of our house, and this is in Detroit. And it was like, wow, I opened the door, it's the Stooges. And they're like, "Where's that guy that lives here that plays bass? We need him." I was like, wow, I'll let him know, So I saw Jimmy. I go, "Jimmy, the Stooges are looking for you, man." So he ended up getting the gig with them and playing all over the place, One night they had a show at the East Town, and the drummer, Scott Ashton, crashed the rental van going under a viaduct that was too low, and he just sheared the top off the van. And this is all in that Jim Jarmusch movie that was just made, Gimme Danger, the story. So he broke his hands, and he was too messed up to play the drums. And they got a phone call from one of the booking agencies. It was actually Dave Leone, who became a good friend of ours. He says, "If the Stooges don't play this show, they're finished." So they were like, "Okay, who can we get?" So they asked me to come down and be their drummer. So I go down to the East Town. I'm learning the songs in the back room. And every now and then Iggy opens the door. He gives me the evil eye. And this guy shows up with a bag, and he's like, "Iggy, I'm sorry, but I could only get gold. I know you wanted silver, but I could only get gold." I'm going, what is he talking about? Iggy goes, "All right, you idiot, come on, let's do this." So the guy opens the bag. He pulls out a big bottle of Johnson's baby oil, and Iggy's not wearing a shirt. And he just pours it over Iggy's head, and all this oil runs down his head. And then he goes in and he pulls out the little bottles, little jars of art glitter. And, they were gold. And he just sprinkles this cloud of metal flake glitter. It goes down and it sticks to the oil. Now, Iggy's metal flake, but his pants are falling down because of the oil. So they just open the backstage door and go, "Iggy needs a belt." And all these little girl arms come through the door holding belts. And the roadie just slams the door on the arms, and all these belts fall on the ground. They grab one. He puts the belt on, and he leaves again. I'm going, wow, man, this is really fun. I love this band. And Iggy comes back, and now he's got the saxophone player with him. And he goes, "I got a great idea, guys. We're going to let Steve McKay play drums." And everybody's looking at him, kind of rolling their eyes, going, "Wah, wah, wah." Oh, no. So he did it. He forced the sax player to be the drummer, and he couldn't play. So God bless him, he tried. But the show lasted about 8 minutes. Iggy fell into the audience. The jocks were pounding him with their fists. He was spitting on everybody. The roadie had to reel him in with the mic cord, like he was like way out in the audience getting, pounded on. So it was like a tug of war. He gets him back on stage, and Iggy barfs right on stage. He just hurls, and people are just angry, and the band unplugs. They all stomp off the stage, and there was some band from England standing side stage with their shag haircuts and their platform shoes and the halter tops, And they were looking at this going, what the hell's going on in Detroit, And it was amazing. So I saw Iggy years later when I was with Fat Possum Records, and they were doing the Junior Kimbrough tribute record. And I reminded him of it. And he just started cracking up, and he hugged me. He goes, "Man, showbiz is a bitch, isn't it?" So I forgot all about this, and then it came to me like in the middle of the night. Oh, that would be a great song. So we're going to close it out with this one. It's called I Almost Played with the Stooges. Well, you know, people, almost played with Detroit's greatest band of all time. You know, I almost played with the Stooges. My telephone rang about 4 p.m. My friend Jimmy Wrecker on the other end. Hey, the Stooges got a show at the East Town tonight. Our singer Iggy Pop is getting real uptight. The drummer went and crashed the van, smashed his face and broke his hand. Rock and roll is tough and it's full of abuses, but I almost played with the Stooges. I almost played with the Stooges. So there was people in the back room. They said, get ready, man, you're gonna play real soon. Here's a brand new one, it's called 1969. I said, Mr. Ashton, that song is so fine, but your drummer crashed the van, smashed his face and broke his hand. Rock and roll is tough and it's full of abuses, but I almost played with the Stooges. Almost played with the Stooges. Oh, yeah. Was people in the back room. They said, get ready, Tino, you're gonna play real soon. Then Iggy Pop showed up. He said, man, it's a bummer, but tonight the sax player's gonna be our drummer, 'cause he crashed the van, smashed his face and broke his hand. Rock and roll's tough, you know, it's full of abuses, but I almost played with the Stooges. I almost played with the Stooges. Almost played with the Stooges, yeah, you know, I almost played with Detroit's greatest band of all time. You know, I almost played with the Stooges. True story.
Ooh, love it. This has been fun. I could talk for you another hour, but unfortunately we can't do that. It has been a pleasure, of course. Tino G's Dumpster Machine, brand new, first ever solo album out called Low Flying, and people can get this best way.
iTunes, Spotify, Google.
And if they want to follow you,
everything.
find out where you're playing and all that, best place is?
We have Funky D Records. It's www.funkydrecords.com.
Okay.
And that's got all the info. You can get the album there, see what the shows are, and then, you know, Facebook, of course, and,
Yeah.
you know, or just, you know, put your ear to the street, baby, and you'll find out.
Perfect. Oh, it's been a pleasure, Tino. Thank you so much. And of course, Carlton, Jeremy, and Mike. Thanks, guys. All sounded great. This is it's got some good stuff here. The three we heard, they were really, really good. So I'm anxious to hear. You got a full one here, 13 tracks. So got to get this for everybody.
Yeah,
so.
there was about 40, and we had
of course. Well, as much as you're writing every day, yes, I would imagine.
But we're already working on the next record.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a timeline on that at all?
Probably like the first of the year,
Okay.
the
Well,
early,
that's not too far
late
away.
winter. We'll get some more stuff out.
Yeah.
Because why sit on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, you never know. You might as well get it out there while you can.
Exactly.
Good one. Well, thanks again, guys. It has been so much fun. Great stories. Thank you, Tino. I knew this was going to be a good one. So thanks for coming on to our show here behind the mic. And thanks to all of you out there watching out in the universe and the catch those airwaves. Remember, you never know. So thanks again for tuning in. I'm Pam Rossi. Have a great week.